Hello, and welcome to Sifting for Soul. In this episode, I'm going to deliver the screensavers I promised. They're available for Windows, they're available for Mac. I find them to be particularly calming, especially like the drone ones. There's another one that's not necessarily calming, I would describe it as, because it's a time lapse, so it's a little bit more fast moving. But these are completely free. You can download them, caveat emptor, like when you install them, I have no idea what's on your computer. I haven't put anything there that'll hurt your computer, but it's like how these things interact, unclear. But give them a shot, see what you like, let me know in the comments, and that's coming up next. And so if you're not too busy, let's get it. Hello, and welcome to Sifting for Soul. If you're new here, well, an extra special welcome to Sifting for Soul. You know what? That's not fair. Whether you're new or whether you've been following along, I appreciate you very, very much. Unless you're not watching, in which case that makes it kind of weird because then I'm sort of talking to myself. But I'm always, in effect, talking to myself through the camera. Wow, this got really meta. Sorry, that's kind of how my brain works. Anyway, welcome. Effectively, I use photography as one of many tools to try to understand myself better and to try to relate to the world better. That's particularly useful right now during the holiday seasons. How rude of me. Happy holidays to you. I hope that you're experiencing the joy of the season. I hope that you're experiencing a sense of how fortunate you are. And I don't mean that assuming that you are fortunate. I mean that assuming that there are some good things in your life, and I am hopeful that you are mindful of the good things in your life, not just the things that are missing from your life, but the positive things in your life. So I hope you're experiencing the joy that's available to you, and that you're looking forward to sharing that joy with the meaningful people in your life. And so happy holidays to you, whatever holidays you celebrate. I hope the celebrations are festive and you're enjoying yourself. As for me, I get a little depressed during the holidays, to be quite honest. This year has been worse than expected, and because of that, I have had to step up my strategies for managing it. My symptoms manifest in a number of ways. It's harder for me to do things that normally I could do without even thinking about them. It's hard to, I think it's from Uncle Vanya. I remember one of the lines that I really liked way back in undergrad was one of the characters described another character as being too tired to live or too tired to breathe. I'll have to look up the exact line. Or if you know the exact line, put it in the comments. But sometimes I feel like that, like I'm too tired to live, just too tired to breathe. And that's pretty dangerous. And so I've started actively addressing that. For me, actively addressing that means sometimes just do the things I know I need to do. So get to the gym and make sure I eat healthy and make sure that even though I don't want to be social, that I force myself to have some social experiences and not disconnect too much. Photography is tremendously helpful to me. It gives me something zen to do. It gives me sometimes a rote task, like editing for me can be very rote since I tend to use the same things, same style. But other times can be quite creative, where I'm just like, oh, I've got this new way of thinking about it. This vlog has been really helpful. The ability to express and articulate, hopefully I'm articulating clearly, how I feel and what happens. First, it's meaningful because I want to destigmatize it. Every time a mass shooting or something terrible happens, it gets blamed on mental health. But simultaneously, we don't talk about our mental health in an open and honest way. So here is me trying to talk about my own mental health in an open and honest way. By all accounts, I am quite successful in my life. I've been happy and I have meaningful relationships. And so an outsider looking at my life would be like, what do you have to be sad about? Like, you have resources, you have a place to live, you have food, you can pay your bills, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, exactly. Because newsflash, depression doesn't care. It doesn't give a shit if you have resources. It can affect you anyway. And so that's the point. Like, we all have to manage our mental health. And nobody is spared regardless of their resources. You can't outthink it, you can't outrun it, you can't out-exercise it, but you can manage it. And so I had to step up my management strategies. And so I've restarted therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I did many, many years of therapy, and arguably it was the single biggest factor that allowed me to change a lot of my broken thinking, to change the way I related to the world, and to actually start to heal. I spent a lot of time suffering and navigating life, and I wasn't really living. I was just mapping a pathway through the obstacles and learning how not to throw up new obstacles. But therapy actually helped me learn how to heal and figure out what kinds of things I needed to heal. And it's super useful. It's not the solution for everybody. For some people, they respond more positively to medication. But for me, it was time to definitely re-enter therapy. I haven't been in therapy in, I guess, about 10 years. But life is iteration. And so you have to try different things and see what works and pick out the useful pieces from the things that do work and not be afraid to re-enter something that worked in the past. And so for me, that's therapy. And then also looking at things from a very therapeutic way. And so today's video is all about that. And so I find drone footage to be so soothing. And when I fly the drone, I specifically attempt to make it soothing. And so I'm very gentle on the controls, and I'm very sort of deliberate and slow. And I find this sort of view of the world to be very soothing. And so I wanted to share some of that with you. I've created some screensavers, and they're completely free. Caveat emptor, they are installable. I run it on my Mac. I packaged it up as an installer. I haven't put any malware or anything like that in there, so it doesn't make any calls to the internet. It doesn't do anything nefarious to your machine, but I have no idea what else is on your machine, so completely free, but usual caveats apply. Like, you're downloading it from the internet. If you know me, then you know that I'm not looking to harm your machine. I don't care about your data. If you don't know me, then you shouldn't trust me and do whatever you normally do to vet this software before you install it. I'll walk you through what it looks like on the Mac. I only have a Windows virtual machine, and I asked a buddy of mine, shout out to Patrick Ballard, much appreciated, my friend. I asked a buddy of mine to test it on his Windows machine, and he said it worked, but it was a little jittery. So if you have some feedback on the Windows executable, if you could let me know, I'll keep iterating to try to make that better. So let me walk you through just what the screensavers look like, how you get them. I'll post the links in the description. And yeah, this will be short.
Great. So I'll walk you through installing one of the screensavers. It's fairly easy. You just need to go to one of the links, and then you'll be prompted to download it. I have hosted this on my Google Drive for the time being, so you'll notice artifacts of that. Google Drive doesn't let you download folders. You have to download zip files, so I just put the app up there as a zip file to skip the step of Google doing it. So I'm going to use the Waikiki time-lapse for OS X as an example. And so I've gone to the link that I provided in the description, and it takes me to this view where it shows me the contents of the zip file, which is basically the app folder. And so here, if I click the open with, sorry, I don't want to click open with. I actually want to click the download arrow on the right. So here, I click the download arrow on the right, and it downloads it for me. So I did a practice run of this so that I would know exactly what I was going to see, which is why you see another one here. So here I'm going to go ahead and keep, and then it downloads it, and it's pretty small since this is just a short time lapse. Note the clacton-on-sea is, if you download the 4K one, it's like 1.5 gigabytes, so it's pretty sizable, but great resolution. It's super relaxing. It's my favorite one to look at the time being. This is a lot smaller though. And so here I click the arrow because I just want to show it in Finder. And in Finder, I see in my downloads, I can see the install Waikiki timelapse screensaver.app zip file. I double click on it to extract it, and I have it extracted. And I can double click on it, which will prompt it to install. And I can click, go ahead and open, even though it's from the internet, the dangerous internet. Okay, cool. And so here's just the details. It was from Honolulu, Hawaii. It was a time lapse that I shot on my phone. This is related to Sifting for Soul, and then the various URLs for the Sifting for Soul social media pages. And then all rights are reserved, so I do maintain the rights to this video. And before you install it, you can just go ahead and preview it and see what it looks like on your system. So I'll go ahead and click preview now. And then when I click preview, I see a pretty cool time lapse looking at Waikiki. I've got the clouds moving out to sea, the waves coming in to sea, of course, or waves coming to the shore. Got some surfers out there in between the two buildings. I've got even some planes or birds out there. It's pretty cool. So I move my mouse. That looks fine to me. I'm going to go ahead and click install. So I click install, and it copies the files to the local screensaver directory. And it tells me the installation was successful, and then the window goes away, and then it sets it as the screensaver. So with it set as the screensaver, you can now preview it. You can use it as your screensaver. Whatever your screensaver settings are, you can change those specific for this. And so here, I haven't put any special screensaver settings in here. It's basically will show on your primary screen. You can have it show on multiple screens. I think by default, I set it to show on multiple screens. And then it just links to the Sifting for Soul website. And then you can also uninstall it here. But you can more easily, if you hate it and you want to uninstall it, if I just scroll down to Waikiki timelapse here, which has the image that you saw in the description, but it's also alphabetical order. So I know I'm at the S's and I'm scrolling down. And there's my image. So if you want to get rid of it, it's also, you can just right click and choose delete, and it will be gone. But for now, I kind of like it. So I'm going to, I have mine set up for hot corners in the right. So I'm going to throw mine in the hot corner, and then I want to see my pretty screensaver appear. And there's my pretty screensaver. So that's it. That's all there is to it. The only difference is if you do the clacton-on-sea or the longer one, the only difference that you're going to see is that it takes longer to download because it's 1.5 gigabytes versus, a few megabytes or whatever this one ended up being. Let's see. Yeah, it's like 50 megabytes versus 1.5 gigabytes. So it'll take a little bit longer to download. It shouldn't bog down your system. It's just installing a file local to the system and then playing a video while the screensaver's on. But it's very cool. It's very relaxing. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any trouble in the comments. And enjoy. I hope you find these to be a meaningful distraction when you need a meaningful distraction.
Coming up, we have some awesome videos. So I got a new iPad, the iPad Pro 12-inch with the pencil. I don't get unboxing videos, so I'm going to do one because maybe the process of doing the thing will help me understand why on earth so many people watch these things. And I have some time and I want to be creative, and so I will do an unboxing video for my iPad Pro. This feels a little weird because it feels like showing off that I got an iPad. That is not my approach. My approach is really more of, I'm so frustrated with the previous Apple Pencil, even though it really works great for what I need it to do. Having it stick out the side and not having a good sense of what the battery is. This has just been sort of the bane of my existence. Not really. I mean, if that's the bane of my existence, then I have a pretty good existence. But it was frustrating enough that I got a new iPad. So coming up, I'll do an unboxing video on the iPad. Also do a video on how to edit, like the differences between editing on the new iPad versus editing on the old iPad. I don't actually know if there's going to be a difference because I haven't unboxed it yet, because I'm going to do an unboxing video for you.